our second album, Soul Traveling, did pretty well in the underground to where we started getting like some looks for from certain people, certain labels, and we wind up going with this LA based label called Ohm Records. I don't know if you're familiar. They were putting out like some really dope 12-inch releases, some dilated people stuff, So we wind up doing a deal with them, and I remember like even going into that album, it was always like what is the progression from the last album? So I know particularly with this particular project, I wanted to bring other producers in, just to, I was still executive producing all the Strange Fruit Project albums, but I wanted to bring some people in because along the way we were meeting so many people, bro, that was just fans of our work, wanted to work, of course, like from my brother Illmind, who produced the Get Live joint, and Jake
Knife
One,
Wonder.
and D, just so many Ninth Wonder. So yeah, they became fans of the groups, man. And I was like, I knew I wanted to bring in some other producers just to kind of just to kind of push it a little bit and give the people something different for this particular project. So that's exactly what we did, man. We did that and dialed in on that particular album, and specifically with the Get Live joint. And I'll kind of take y'all back a little bit just to show like how this really came to fruition with working with Erykah, because it still blows my mind when I think about it. But like I was saying earlier when I was talking about my first album, where Quest got a hold of our CD, he passed it along to Erykah Badu. And while we're working on the second album, I get a call one day, and I answered the phone, and it's Erica on the other line. And I actually didn't even think it was Erica, to where I was like, man, you for real? Is this really,
Of course not.
is this really you? And she was like, yeah, this is Erica. Like, I'm a big fan of your work. Questlove passed y'all CD, and that's all I've been listening to since he gave it to me. And it was just one of those things that were like, man, like, and I was wondering how she even got my number, but I remembered on the back of the CD, or the back of the CD for the first album, I had my cell number back there because I was like, for
Oh
booking,
wow.
I had my cell number because I was, the one kind of managing as well until we found someone that manages. So that's how she got my number. She called it from the back of the CD, called me. In that particular conversation, we was on the phone for maybe 2 hours just talking about music, talking about like specific things and our influences and things. And from that day, man, we just became friends. She would always check on us and see if we need anything. So it wasn't until that third album until we was like, man, we gotta see if Erica would hop on one of these joints for us. So she invited us to her crib. We went out there. I remember me and my own. We went to her crib, and we stayed out there. We was out there for like 4 or 5 hours, just putting on beats, freestyling, having great conversations. So we had two beats that we knew this we wanted her to be on, and one of them was this joint, and another one was I forgot the beat, but it was two beats, and she wound up was like, "Yo, I want to hop on this one." So that particular night, she laid the idea down on a voice note, and she told us, let me just work on it and just kind of iron the lyrics out. So we were writing our lyrics while she was crafting finishing that chorus up. And then we got the song done. She sent her vocals in like in the fourth quarter when we was ready to turn the album in. We was able to get it mixed, and um, and then from there, man, even from having that song finished, it was a point to where the label was like, "Yo, we need to shoot a video for this." So we had to make sure that Universal, no, 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 no. Motown.
Right.
Motown, Universal Motown was gonna clear it for us because that's a whole nother thing. And they was giving us pushback on even clearing it
The
for like,
video.
yeah, for her being on the video, because we had already shot the video. She came out to the shoot. We did an all day shoot. It was like from the morning, 6 a.m. to like 11 p.m., 12 that night, and she stayed with us that whole time shooting the video. So we knocked the video out. Uh, and after that, we had the video edited, and then Universal Motown was giving us pushback on clearing the song for us to even release it. And I got on
Sorry,
the call.
sorry to pause you. Universal, sorry, Motown was giving pushback for the video and the song itself.
Yes, because you
Okay.
have to get the artist has to get clearance from the label to be released on anything, because they're
I,
signed to the label, so they still have to be able to give them clearance to be able to release it.
I guess the,
So
the thing the thing that surprised me was the video. I understand the song, but I didn't know they had to get clearance to do a
yeah,
music
clearance for the
video.
video as well. Yeah.
That's crazy. All right,
Yeah.
sorry, continue.
So they was giving us pushback, man, and I got on the phone with Erykah, and she was like, "Nah, like I'm gonna take care of it," and she did. She talked to the label and was like, "Yo, I'm this is my these are my family. I did this song, and we got the clearance for it, and the song got released on the 12-inch, VH1 Soul, and some other other video channels picked up the video, and they were playing the video. It got into rotation, and yeah, and the song got released, man. And I can't thank Erykah enough for doing that, because that put us in, as far as the group and me as a producer, it put a lot of eyes on us, and it
Mm.
put a lot of ears on us as well, to where people really start to open up and really listen to what we had to offer.
So at this point, based on what I read in the book, I know you said that it put some eyes on you, but as far as like financially, it wasn't life changing money coming in at this point.
Nah, bro.
Are we gonna get to that point? Because I know when that started coming.
It wasn't life changing money. It was, we were doing tours, but it was very bare bones with the tours, man, and nickels and dimes, Chitlin circuit type vibes.
Mm. And you're still you're
But we were young, man, and we were doing what we love. I think for me personally, and I'm sure the rest of the fellas in the group can attest to this as well, or agree with this as well. But man, when we got on stage, and whether we was performing in front of 100 people or 500 people, like, and people like shouting the lyrics to the songs, and after the shows, people coming up and giving us situations of how our music inspired them or helped them in some way, bro, it was all worth it.
mm,
It was
mm,
all worth it.
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Just
So
that,
that
just that feeling of knowing that, man, this was a dream that we aspired to do, and that we were actually on the road and going, different countries and all over the US, and people knew the lyrics to the songs. It was a feeling that you can't even explain.
different countries. Did you ever come to the UK?
Yes.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Wh-
UK, we
Whereabouts?
did Germany, we did Switzerland, we did Prague. Um, yeah, we went a lot of places, man.
Do you remember whereabouts in the UK you went?
I do not.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. But okay, so then obviously the song I played prior and this song, you're rapping on both, right? And my understanding is initially that's how you started out as a rapper, and then you entered into production because you needed some beats to rap on. So at this
Yep.
point, when Get Life comes out, what were you prioritizing? Rapping, producing, or was you trying to do both on the same sort of level at the same time?
I was doing both, but I think around the healing time is where I started to play more background lyrically as a rapper, because my passion for production was growing, and my excitement for emceeing was lessening. So I was taking more of the pros, and then also I was strictly producing for the group. I was doing like little one-offs here and there, producing for people, but I was strictly producing for the group. And like I was telling you earlier, we were very intentional with the group and the sound of the group. But I knew creatively that there was so many more areas that I wanted to explore creatively. So I knew that I wanted to still produce for other people as well. Like I want to produce for a Kanye or a Jay-Z, but of course still produce for the group in my intentions because I knew specifically what the group sound was. But I wanted to challenge myself as well creatively and try new things with other artists that I was influenced by as well.
It's interesting because I see a lot of parallels between your
Mhm.
story and Knife Wonder's story. I mean, of course, there's a little brother, two rappers, and a producer, and of
Yeah,
course, in your case, of course, you're rapping as well, but you're the main producer, and
yeah.
of course, eventually,
Only difference with that is like my brothers are still my brothers.
right?
Literally, you know what I'm saying? And not throwing no shade, but I'm just talking about from my situation. Like my like we're working on Strange Fruit Project stuff now to this day. And like
Okay.
we went through a period where we wasn't working on stuff, but at the same time, they still knew that if they needed anything from me, like it was a done deal. Like it was never a point to where I never got to a point to where I can't work with y'all because I'm producing with this person. It's beyond the music. I'll just say that. Like it's beyond the music with that. It's more of a brotherhood. So they know if anything that they need from me, that it was going to be done. Period. Whether
And
it's
then,
music or whatever.
and you was also getting compared to Little Brother at the time as well.
Yes.
How did you guys as a group feel about that? I mean, that must have been a
Man,
compliment.
it was a crazy thing because when Little Brother started to when they started to kind of come out of the underground into the commercial world, like we were huge fans of Little Brother. Like they was one of our inspirations definitely during that time. But at the same time, we were starting to kind of come right behind them. And I remember getting on like OK Player forums and people will be comparing us like Strange Fruit Project versus Little Brother. And then you go read the comments and it's like people side like, nah, Little Brother. And it was like, nah, Strange Fruit. And these like little uh forum arguments would be happening. And me and the fellas, we'd be talking like, man, this is, you kind of feel a certain way because it's like almost like they trying to put us together, but they didn't even
Mhm.
know that we were already talking with Little Brother. They was like fans of ours, we were fans of ours. I mean, we were fans of theirs, and we was working together. Like I was working with Fonte. I was on the Minstrel Show album. I didn't produce anything on there, but I had an interlude where I was talking on the Minstrel Show. It was a very interesting time just seeing how we were like right behind them, in the quest to becoming like a underground hero group.
Mm. So during this time, you were still at university, right? Studying audio engineering.
No,
Just as
I was done. I was already done with that. Like I went to college right after high school.
okay.
So I was there until I probably finished there like 97. I was supposed to finish in 2 years, but I slacked off 1 year. And my grades weren't good. So I actually was there like three, maybe even 3.5 years. Because music, man, I really didn't even want to be at school. It was just a thing of I knew I had to do something. And the good thing about the audio program that I was in, that's where I met like my best friends at because a few of them were in my class and we had to do projects where we create songs. And that's when we formed our collective Third Eye Militia, which was our crew, just by being in that class and having to finish certain projects, certain musical projects that we had to do, and we would just do all hip hop stuff, So that was that moment to where it was like, man, I really don't want to be in school, but I'm gonna be here because at least we get to work on music for a little bit during these particular classes.
So sticking with the school part, right? Now, of course, you have an academic background in music, but there's loads of people who've managed to succeed in the industry without having any academic background, right? So, in what way do you feel like studying audio engineering gave you like an edge, or did it give you an edge in the industry?
It did because it allowed me to explore like the process of creating, whether that be recording, learning mic, the different mics and the different pickups on mics and mic placement, mixing, like we were mixing from a console. So just learning like, different things on that end. And then also just being able to learn the process of, because it was more than just that. We were working on 2-inch tape. We had to learn the 2-inch tape reel. So learning that machine and just learning like the foundation of recording, mixing, and just sonics as a whole. So it definitely gave me an edge because it allowed me to understand that world more. And when I started producing more, I was able to incorporate some of those things within what I was already doing.